Hey, what's up everybody? Today we're gonna build a project. It's gonna be a full stack. We're gonna build it from beginning to end, and we're gonna be using the Rails API for our backend, and we're gonna be using some HTML, CSS, and JavaScript for our front end. So this is what we're gonna build. I already did a version of it. It's called Project Central. So essentially the point of this here is you would have your subcontractors, your employees, and you would give each and every single one a task. For example, over here we got Lopez, and we can check his information. Well, actually, if we click on the name itself, you're gonna see the project that they have assigned. He has completed his project, and we can go ahead and delete it and or edit it. We can now look at their profile, see all the information. It's a little simple. We'll get to that why, and over here we can actually go ahead and assign them a project. The information is still down here. We can edit their information. This is the form, and or delete it. Over here we get to see all the contractors, the project name, the name of the contractor. If it's completed, Lopez, we already saw that one, that's completed. Go ahead, delete, enter, edit. Go ahead and edit this. And yeah, now they're both completed. So yeah, that's essentially what we're gonna do. We're gonna build this from beginning to end. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's do that. Okay, so we're gonna first start off with the back end. I'm probably gonna break this up into 4 parts. So for right now, we're just gonna focus on the back end. I already showed you guys how to make a repository in GitHub and get it verified, so I'm not gonna do that right now. It's gonna waste a little bit of time. So we're just gonna jump into creating our new API. So let's go ahead. So we're gonna start off with Rails new single page application. I'm just gonna abbreviate it, and our API. So if you've seen the previous videos, you'll know that my PC is getting a little worn out, so we're just gonna have to give it some time to create the API for us. Okay, cool. Alright, awesome. I'm probably gonna put some background music. Enjoy it. Yeah. So essentially the next step is to create the contractor and the projects. So we're gonna go ahead and scaffold. Scaffold in the API is a little better, in my opinion, than if we were to use it on Rails alone. Rails gives you a lot more stuff, makes it heavier. This API is lightweight, so it's not gonna give us that much information. So we're gonna go ahead and generate our table, and then we're gonna migrate them. So we're gonna say Rails, if I can spell correctly, because I can never spell, scaffold project, and we're gonna give it a column of name. We're gonna give it a cost. Yeah, we're doing project cost, and the cost is an integer, so we're gonna go ahead and say it's an integer. And we got employees also, and employees is also an integer, so we're gonna go ahead and say integer. Name doesn't need any information because it's already a string, so it recognizes the first thing that you put, the first column without information, as a string. So we got a little error here off the bat. And what does it say? The default arguments don't affect the values. Message. Okay, let's go a little higher. Project? I can't even spell. Okay, it's actually a good thing that worked. Okay, let's go ahead and try one more time. So I'm a little confused as to why it's not going ahead. Let's just read the error one more time. It says use Rails new option scaffold. No, we should be good here. Okay, I see the problem right now. We got to go into our folder. So one little thing I like to do with all my information, I like to take it all out of the folder Just every bit of data that we have, every single folder, just drag them out. And now this folder that we had originally, I just like to delete it. For this instance, we could do this. There's other cases where you would build your front end and your back end separately. That works totally fine. But for this case specifically, you'll see how actually putting everything together into one repository will actually do the trick. So now we're gonna go ahead and generate our project. And like I said, enjoy the background music. Let's see what happens. Okay, cool, great. Now we actually got it to work. All right, so next we're gonna go ahead and build our contractors. We're gonna say Rails G scaffold contractor. The table contractor capital. Then we got a first name. It's a string. Then we got a last name. Yeah, string also. We got an email, string also, and we got a phone number. That's gonna be an integer. How do you spell integer? Integer. Okay, let's see if it works. Rails G scaffold contract, first name, last name, email, phone number. We should be good to go. Perfect. So it's working. Awesome. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and just, so let's just take a look. We have no models. Oh wait, no, I actually already just did the scaffold, my bad. We have no migrations yet. We're gonna go ahead and look at the migrate, see right here. So we gotta migrate our information. But we have the models. Let's see. Yeah, but we have nothing in there yet. Contractor and projects, because we gotta migrate them. So let's do that. Rails DB migrate. And then I gotta jump into the models themselves and give them some association. So what happened now? What did I do? Did I misspell? So an error occurred on this and all later migrations. So we got create projects. What is that? Integers. Undefined method integers. Integer. Oh, yep. I did mean to say integer. Let's see where it's at. Integers. Yeah. But now it says it's giving me an error occurred. Undefined method integers. Give me integer. Yeah, it's good now. So let's go ahead and delete the SQLite and the seeds, and we're gonna go ahead and try to do that. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna go ahead and scaffold again which one was it? Let's take a look at one more. It's good to read the error messages, to be honest. I always learn this way. It's good. So don't ever think that when you get an error message, it's a bad thing. Like we're human. So undefined method integers for active record. That's the line table definition. It can be an integer. It's for projects. Okay, so projects. Go ahead and take a look at projects. So integers. Okay, so boom. That was it. It was just a little typo. And honestly, I do that so often. Like I annoy myself sometimes how I can do typos, and that's what kind of slows me down. But I think it happens to everybody, so it doesn't matter. I mean, it matters. It does matter. It does matter. But you get my point. Okay. So we created the API. We scaffolded projects, contractors, and we migrated our information. And now we got to go into the models. So let's go ahead. Right here, contractor and project. Cool. Up here we got our controllers. Let's just take a look really quick too. And boom.
This is all information that we're going to be receiving and sending right here. So yeah, I'm going to do the associations for the models. Let's go ahead and do that. So we know that our contractor has many projects. Okay, and we know that let me just close some of this stuff so it looks a little neater. We know that our project belongs to our contractor. So maybe you just picked up on something and there's an error on our migrations. If you can pause the video and tell me, hey, I didn't watch the end and I know what the problem is right now, then we're probably advanced. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at our tables. And I know that our projects need a type of reference with our associations. So let's go ahead and delete this information too. We're gonna delete this. We're gonna remigrate again, and our schema too. This is not the appropriate way of how you delete a schema, but I do it. So I know that we have a T integer. We need a column of a contractor ID, because this project and any other project needs to know who it's working with. Like you can create a project, right? But who does it belong to? Who's the manager per se of that specific project? So here we're telling that, hey, whatever number you get of the manager, yeah, that's your reference. So let's go ahead and we're gonna do a really quick DB migrate. But at least we have now, okay, that worked, cool. We have now our associations, has many and belongs to, and they now know who they belong to. So see, integer, now we got the schema set up, it's got a contractor ID. Yeah, so let's go ahead and keep going. Next thing we gotta do is check our gems. So let's do that. We're gonna close the application, close the database, and we gotta go jump into the gem file. Okay. I don't like what it does. Okay. So there are three files that right now that we're gonna be using. Let's just put them down here. Oh, so last time I forgot that this file is actually right here already, and I put it manually. So boom, gems there, gem 1. We're gonna go ahead and say gem, what was it? Active model serializers. Yeah, I believe it's active model serializers. I guess we're gonna find out the hard way. And then we got pry. I love pry. It lets me just go into the console and just work flawlessly, in my opinion. So now that we got those gems, we gotta bundle them, and boom. And now we enjoy we didn't have to enjoy the background music, actually did it pretty quick. Cool. So now we got our active model serializers working. Now we're gonna go ahead and put the association of our serializers also. So we're gonna close this, we're gonna close the controllers, and where was it? If I can remember actually where it is. Serializers, they should be right here. Oh no, okay. We gotta generate them right now. So or else it's almost like generating user, generating controller, or generating a view. You're gonna do the same thing with our serializers. So Rails G serializer, we've got a contractor, and if you saw the video of creating a backend for like a fake Twitter API, you're gonna remember that this is for us visualizing the data that we have. You still can see the data if you go into your console with Pry, but seeing it on a browser honestly just makes things look a lot neater, and it's more of a visual thing, to be honest. But you don't need it. You can still work without this. Actually, I take that back. It's always good to work visualizing your data. So we had a first name. How do you spell first? First name. We got a last name. What else do we have? We got an email, and we have a phone number. Phone number. I always leave it at phone number. All right. So, little misspelling over there. Don't be like me. Always check that you have your spelling done correctly, because it's gonna save you so much time, to be honest. It just really is. So yeah, cool. So we got one serializer down. Boom. Now we're gonna go ahead and create our second one. So obviously you saw that I added some, the details: first name, last name, email, phone number there. Yeah, you can definitely do that. You can add all the information that you need next to the generator. Rose, serializer. What was it? Project. Yeah, we got a project, and that one had a name, a cost, employees, and a contractor ID. Okay, cool. Okay, so let me just double check, because I do not want to be making so many misspells. So Rose G serializer, we got a project, and it's got a name, cost, employees, and contractor ID. So boom, let's see if it generates properly. Great, it generated. Awesome. So what I like to do also, we know that our models over here have their associations. I like to do the same thing with my serializers, because I want to visualize the association, and that's what I was talking about. Once you have data up and running, it's so helpful, to be honest, especially when you're working with large data. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and say that our contractor, we're going to the serializer, we go down and boom, we just paste that. We can do the same thing with you can paste it, but you can also type it. Has many, and then what was it? The project. What is this? Project. So it belongs to the project belongs to contractor. No, it's not contractor ID. It's just contractor on its own. So cool. Now we got the associations set up for our serializers. So just to have some seed data, I'm gonna go ahead and go into my console and create some fake users. So I already had some information here set up for me on which contractor. So contractor that create, and we're gonna say first name, and we're gonna call him Chito. There's a UFC fighter. Boom. Last name Beta. And what else did we have? We had an email. So if they're all strings, you have to put them in quotes. You cannot leave it just without any quotes. Only the integers you can do that. And we also had, I believe, a phone number, right? So phone number. This is the integer that goes without any quotes. So we got. All right. So I believe it should be correct. We got, at least in the U.S., this is the way you write your. Oh crap. So I'm just gonna go ahead and copy what I had up here. And then we're gonna rewind 80. So we got 202, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have our contractor. Oh, what happened there? It says, let me see. Let's read that first name. Expecting end of point. Oh, okay, got it. So down here we got to put the semicolon, and then we forgot that little semicolon. Silly me. Oh, okay. So now we got another one. It says contract create SQLite version unknown. Okay, perfect. See, misspellings. It's phone num. Boom, it just did it like that. See, it just recognizes it right away. So now we got to create a project. So let's do that quickly. And we got a name. We also had cost, and we had employees, and we had a contractor ID. So now we're gonna go ahead and give it that name. I say it's just the skyscraper. Is that how you spell skyscraper? It doesn't matter right now. It's just, and we got a cost. Let's just say cost, build the skyscraper cost 10 million. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Did I say 3? Just that one was 0, just in case. So we got employees. How many employees are gonna be working in that skyscraper? Let's just say 200. And notice that I'm not putting the numbers in quotes. They are not strings. You could for other stuff, but right now I set them up as integers in the table, so they are gonna be outside of the quotes. And since we only made one contractor, I know that there's just his ID is gonna be number 1 because this is our first one. But if we got an error, we'll go ahead and check. So cool, it actually worked. It worked out. So let's check project. That all. Boom, we got one project with an ID of 1, and it's user ID 1. And who's this user? Who's this contractor? Let's go check. Contractor. That all, right? So now we go and look. It says contractor ID number 1. Who is the number 1? It's Chito Vera. Like that's a contractor. That's how we know who's gonna be linked to the project, which is over here. So this number 1 is this one right here. Associations are great. Just as great as it is, it can be bad in the sense of trying to scale this whole application. But for this purpose right now, it'll do just fine. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna exit. And now what we gotta do is let's just look at the data to see how it's looking. So I'm gonna just say localhost 3000. Right now we have right now I didn't initiate the server. So let's go ahead and initiate our server with Rails S. Rails C for console, Rails S for our server. So it's listening to Puma, and we are up and running, I believe. Cool. So we're gonna go ahead and check our index, and I'm just gonna say projects. Cool. So we got one project with an ID of 1. It's got a name of skyscraper. It's got a cost of I believe I messed up that number. Let's see. So it's actually, yeah, it's got 10 million right now. It's employees 200, contractor ID. And if you don't want to put the contractor ID, you just got the key over here who the contractor is. You know, so it'd be a little redundant to put the contractor ID when you got the association going on. But for this learning purposes, I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it there. So, okay. So what's our next step right now? So our data is working perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and check our contractors. How many do we have? We only have 1, and it's got an ID of 1, which we saw already, which is this. See, it feels a little redundant, but like I said, when you have a lot of data, this is very helpful. But once you go live and you put it up in your website, you know, whatever, we put it like a Heroku, you can take out some stuff. You can definitely take out some information that you do not want to share. But okay, so right now we gotta check our data. We checked it, and that's fine. So we gotta check something else right now. Let's go ahead and open up. Okay, so let me just shut down meanwhile this server, because now that we saw that it's running and we have our data correctly displaying and set up, I need to go to my config, I need to go to my application, and bam. See right here in your application.rb, your config folders, we gotta do some setting up. Essentially what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna tell this backend, through the help of this gem called rec cores, hey, you're gonna get some data. I want you to listen. Doesn't matter where it's coming from, but no, it's gonna be linked to this. We're working on one repository right now and just one local host server, you know. So if you got multiple things going on, it's gonna mess up your local host. It's gonna mess up how you send your data. So I'm telling you right now to the application RP, hey, this, I'm gonna work as middleware, and I'm gonna say, listen to the information that's coming, accept it if it's correct, because we already set up our application controllers. And for example, if we're making a new project, I'm gonna say, hey, listen, check just in case the parameters. It's gotta be a project, and you gotta let just this information come in. Oh, there's a little problem right here. There's a little problem. Contractor ID. This is something that we also gotta do right there. Yeah, so just let that information in, because this is for the project. So okay, so what do we have to put? It's a few lines. So let's go ahead. 1 second. So we start off with config dot middleware insert before 0 cores do. It's a method. Allow do, another method. Origins. I just put origins in quotes, all resource. Essentially we're saying allow it to do a get, post, delete, patch, the whole crud. Create, read, update, and delete. That's essentially what we're saying. So we got our headers, because that's gonna be for our fetch. When we use JavaScript, we're gonna be sending information, any, and then methods, which will be the get, our post, all keys, delete. Oh, I take that back, actually, they're not keys. Delete, patch, and you can say options. Yeah, well. Let me just double check that I actually wrote it correctly, because if I did not, then I, you know, it like what's the point, Ali? Right? I want to compare. Let me just see. Yeah. Okay. So, and now I want to check one more thing, just in case. It's gonna be our Puma. I want it to be listening to the localhost 3000, and just in case that is already set up correctly, so there's no need to do anything there. And yeah, we are good. I'm just checking right now that I did my spelling correctly. Config dot middle-ware dot insert before 0 comma rack double semicolon course. Course, yeah, okay, I thought I misspelled that. Course do allow do origins, allow any origin, and we got resource coming any resource, and our headers is any methods. We are allowing get, post, delete, patch. Did I spell them correctly though? Post, patch, options, and we end the allow, and we end the config, and we should be good. We are good, and that's it. That's all we have to do. Now our API, our backend for our full stack for creating our Project Central application is set up. This is the first step out of the 4 videos that we're gonna be doing, and you're ready to go. So thank you guys for checking this out, and stay tuned for the front end that we're gonna build, and that one's gonna be based just in JavaScript. And then we're gonna do some CSS and possibly upload them to Heroku. So stick around.